Right, so I know a lot of you owners that already own XL bullies or that kind of type of dog are obviously really worried now with the ban to be imposed by the end of the year. My advice to you is get your obedience underway. Do not have that dog pulling you on the lead at all. It must be walking at the side of you. A dog pulling on the lead, they might be the nicest dog in the world, but if they're pulling the owner down the street on the lead, it looks a bit bad. So you've got to have your obedience under control. Muzzle train your dog, because if this ban comes in, or when this ban comes in, I don't think they're going to overturn it, regardless of how many people shout and scream from the rooftops, because so many people have been killed or injured by them. It is absolutely ridiculous the amount of people or dogs that have been attacked by this type of dog. And it isn't the dog, it's the owner. Because I've worked with plenty of bully type dogs and they've been beautiful, absolutely beautiful, no issues, because the owners have been sensible. And the sad thing about this ban is it's going to be the good decent people with the good decent dogs that are going to suffer. And don't think the police can take your dog if your dog's done something. They can take your dog just for being a dog. They can take your dog just because of what he is, what he looks like, what he might be. They can take your dog. Now, what this law is going to mean is if you're out in public with your dog and Joe Bloggs down the road decide, oh, I don't like them dogs, nah, nasty as hell them, or don't like you, nasty as hell, they can then ring the police and say, oh, they've got this type of dog. The police then do have the powers when you're out with your dog in public to come and seize that dog from you. The only time the police can't seize your dog without a warrant is if the dog is in your home. And this is why the law needs changing, because it is unfair for Joe Bloggs down the road just to take a dislike to you for whatever reason, or to your dog, and to be able to ring the police on you just because you've pissed them off for whatever reason, and they ring the police and say, oh, yeah, I've seen them with that horrible dog, it's really dangerous, and they're going to make all this bullshit up. And then if the police happen to be in the area at the time, or Joe Bloggs down the road says, oh, every day they're out at 10 o'clock in the morning, or whatever, the police can come along and take your dog off you. Nah. So there are a lot of flaws in this law. I understand why it's been done, but I don't agree with it. Blanket bans don't work. They don't work. Anyway, you need to muzzle train it. When the ban comes in, it's going to have to be on a muzzle at all times. It's going to have to be on a lead at all times. It needs to be microchipped, which is law already anyway. Insured, public liability insurance, kept secure at all times. Now, its muzzle must be on when it's out in a public place. A public place includes your car. Because yes, weirdly, a car is classed as a public place. Who knew? But it is, so the police can still take your dog from your car if this dog is seen to be not wearing a muzzle or classed as dangerously out of control. So basically, train your dog. I've got so many videos on how to train a dog. If you can't afford to pay for trainers, look up the video. I've got them, other trainers have got them. There's so many videos out there, and we're showing you, we're helping you, we're trying to do what we can to help people get a better mannered dog. And it's not as difficult as you think, but it requires time and patience. And you've got to repeat. You can't just do something one day and say, oh, it's not worked, so it's not going to work with my dog. Because if you've got that attitude, it won't, and you will lose your dog. And the High Court, when they brought the ban in for the pitbulls and everything, the High Court made a statement that regardless of parentage, if your dog is deemed to be that type, they can take your dog. To determine the type, they go from the characteristics and behaviour of the dog. They go off the build and the muscle tone, and it's all done on a point system. Your dog can have done absolutely nothing wrong. You can just be walking down the street, and like I say, if Joe Bloggs down the road reports you just because he's a dick, the police can come and seize your dog. So to recap, you need to muzzle your dog. You need to get public liability insurance on it. Needs to be on a lead at all times when in public places, along with its muzzle. Needs to be kept secure, which means it cannot get out of anywhere where it is. And it needs to be neutered.